Have you ever felt underestimated? Have you ever been someone who no one believed was capable of achieving something great? If so, you will understand exactly what I'm talking about. Sam was the boy everyone ignored, who bore the brunt of the teasing and disdain of those who thought they were superior. But what no one knew was that behind that frail boy there was a determination capable of changing his destiny. In this video, we will follow the journey of overcoming and drama of a young man who, against all odds, proved that hard work beats talent when it refuses to work. You'll discover how Sam turned humiliation into inspiration and used rejection as fuel to achieve success. And the most incredible thing, he did this with humility and selflessness, showing that character and dedication can overcome even the greatest obstacles. Get ready for a story that will make you rethink your own battles. Sometimes victory is not in being the strongest or the most skilled, but in being the most determined. And just like Sam, you too can turn the tide. Want to know how he did it? Keep watching and discover the secret that turned a loser into a true football legend. Did you like this exciting introduction? Do you want to be even more inspired by overcoming stories like Sam's? So don't waste time. Subscribe to the channel and activate the bell to receive notifications. This way, you won't miss any details of these incredible journeys that can transform the way you face your own challenges. Let's discover together how to turn rejection into triumph, because here, each story is a new chance to learn how to win. Sign up now. Sam, with his eyes always focused on the horizon, never tired of dreaming about a different life. He was that boy that many ignored, but who kept an intense flame within him, the desire to become a professional football player. It wasn't just a passing ambition. It was a desire that burned within him, even when reality seemed to overwhelm. All around, his classmates saw nothing but a slight boy, an easy target for mockery. Kevin, in particular, made a point of reminding Sam of his place, or the place he thought Sam deserved. However, what no one seemed to understand was that big dreams are often born from the smallest bodies. While Kevin laughed and mocked, calling him a loser, Sam found silent motivation in pain. Perhaps this was the hardest lesson he would learn early. Overcoming does not begin on the football field, but within the mind. The field was just a reflection of the battle already taking place within. How many of us haven't felt like Sam at some point, wanting something that seems unattainable while we are ridiculed? The great truth is that we all, at some point, face our Kevins, whether at work, at school, or in our personal lives. But unlike many, Sam didn't let harsh words destroy him. No, every laugh, every nasty comment, only served to strengthen him. He knew, somehow, that the road to success was long and arduous. While others watched their football idols in awe, Sam didn't just watch, he studied. He recorded every movement, absorbed every technique, imagining himself on the field, under the lights, with thousands of fans applauding. What motivated him was the turnaround he knew could happen, the drama of proving everyone wrong. However, as much as Sam dreamed big, he knew that overcoming didn't just come from watching football videos. To make his dream come true, he needed to act. He would run alone in the park, kick the ball against the wall, and imagine scenarios in which he would dribble past the biggest players. He knew that silent, daily practice was what would shape his journey. There is something powerful about practicing alone when no one is watching. When everyone else is asleep, you're out there doing your best. Humility, here, is the key. It's not about impressing others. It's about building yourself, brick by brick. Still, Sam's selflessness was visible. He never wanted to be the best to humiliate his peers or prove that he was above Kevin. No, his desire was deeper. He wanted to inspire. I wanted to show that even if you were the most underrated kid, you could achieve anything if you stayed focused and worked hard. And it is this humility that becomes the basis of every great journey of overcoming. Like him, we often need to understand that true success is not shouting our victories, but rather savoring each small step in the right direction. But Sam's journey was far from easy. With each passing day, he felt more alone in his dream. While other young people were preoccupied with parties or social media, Sam was in the field, alone, trying to improve. He knew that life would not give anything on a plate, and that, to achieve greatness, he needed to go through these trials. The inspiration he sought did not come from outside, but from within. It was a strength that no one could see, but that he felt in every beat of his heart. However, even with so much willpower, Sam couldn't escape the cruel reality that Kevin made a point of reminding him every day. "You'll never be good enough," Kevin said with that smirk, trying to bury any spark of hope. The words cut deep, but Sam held on tight to his faith. He knew that greatness did not come without obstacles. True overcoming is moving forward, even when everyone around you insists that you won't make it. With every practice, with every moment of doubt, Sam remembered what his father told him. Life isn't about what you achieve, it's about who you become in the process. And perhaps that was the biggest lesson Sam was learning. It wasn't just about becoming a football player. It was about overcoming yourself. This was the real battle. And little by little, he began to realize that the turnaround he had been waiting for was not on the field, but in his own mind. This journey prepared him for something bigger, something he couldn't yet see. The world around him began to change, and, without Sam realizing it, his inner strength grew every day. This wasn't just a story about football. It was about life. And like him, we can all identify with the struggle to achieve our dreams, even when everything seems to pull us down. As Sam continued his silent battle, his father always had something wise to say. These were not words memorized from self-help books, but lessons drawn from life itself. "Talent can only take you so far," he said, "but it's hard work that pushes you beyond the limits." For Sam, this phrase wasn't just advice. It was a mantra. Watching Kevin, with his natural abilities and arrogant confidence, Sam felt a mixture of admiration and frustration. But instead of giving in to envy, he remembered that true value was in his ability to get up day after day, even when things didn't go as he expected. However, the weight of his father's words only became more evident when Sam found himself alone on the field, under the gray sky, kicking the ball over and over. He didn't have the same facility as Kevin, but every drop of sweat that fell was a testament to his determination. Talent is innate, a gift many possess from birth, but hard work is something you build, brick by brick, and that, Sam was beginning to realize, was what really mattered. Every kick, every mistake, and every new attempt brought him closer to what he wanted. The real difference between Sam and Kevin wasn't just on the field, but in their attitude. Kevin was so confident in his talent that he often underestimated the effort required to stay at the top. Meanwhile, Sam, even though he was aware of his limitations, was always willing to go further. And this is where the big question comes in. Which is more important, talent or perseverance? In the end, as his father always said, talent may fail, but hard work never leaves you. When the pressure mounted and criticism came from all sides, it was Sam's effort that kept him going. He knew he couldn't count on a natural gift to save him. His only ally was discipline. The inspiration his father brought with this message was clear. No matter how talented someone is, if he is not willing to work hard, someone more dedicated will surpass him. And that was the truth Sam carried with him, even when things seemed to fall apart. Sometimes, in moments of doubt, Sam wondered if all this effort would really be worth it. After all, talent seemed to be the key to the success of so many players he admired. But then he remembered stories of athletes who started small, who faced rejection, and still became legends. Overcoming wasn't just about winning the game, but about beating yourself. And that, Sam was learning, was the real achievement. The path wasn't easy, but he knew he was on the right path. No matter how much Kevin tried to intimidate him, Sam knew that the talent's arrogance wouldn't last forever. He saw it in the way Kevin neglected extra training, blindly trusting his natural ability. But Sam was there, every day, doing his best. And the truth is that, over time, Sam's tireless effort began to show results, albeit small ones. Each new skill he mastered was a small victory that brought him closer to his greater goal. The humility with which Sam approached his journey was what set him apart. He knew he wasn't the best player yet, but that didn't bother him. He was willing to learn, adapt, and constantly improve. Kevin, on the other hand, seemed to believe that he had already reached the pinnacle, and that, without him realizing it, was his biggest mistake. Humility is the key that opens doors to learning, and Sam kept that door wide open, ready to absorb every lesson that the football field and life offered him. Deep down, Sam's father wanted to teach him something much bigger than football. He wanted his son to understand that hard work will always win over talent when talent refuses to work. And this wasn't just a sports lesson, but a life lesson. How many times have we seen talented people fall because they relied too much on their natural abilities, while others, more hardworking, exceeded all expectations? Sam knew this was the true test. As time passed, Sam began to see the change in himself. It wasn't just a matter of physical abilities, but a mental transformation. He was becoming more resilient, more focused, and, above all, more confident in his own ability to reinvent himself. He was beginning to understand that overcoming was persistence, and that was something that not even Kevin, with all his talent, could take away from him. Sam's story is a story of inspiration for us all. She reminds us that when we face challenges, it is hard work and humility that guide us. And, as his father said, effort never leaves you. It's a lesson that we can apply to our own lives, whether at work, in studies, or in any other area. Sam's journey is just beginning, and as long as he follows his father's advice, Kevin's talent will be just another obstacle to overcome. Rejection is a wound that hurts deeply, especially when it affects a dream as big as Sam's. The day of tryouts for the football team arrived, and Sam felt prepared. He had trained alone, faced his own insecurities, and believed that, somehow, that effort would be rewarded. But reality does not always go hand in hand with our expectations. Upon seeing the list of those selected posted on the wall, Sam's heart sank. His name wasn't there. The blow came heavy, and Kevin's laughter, echoing in the background, only made everything more painful. That was a moment that many have experienced. The moment when, despite doing your best, the world seems to say no. Feeling defeated, Sam walked away, trying to process what had just happened. He wasn't just sad about not being chosen. He felt humiliated, as if all his effort had been in vain. Kevin, with his mocking attitude, made a point of reinforcing the idea that Sam would never be good enough. Rejection has that power. She makes us believe, for a moment, that maybe everyone is right, and that our dream really isn't worth it. But deep down, Sam knew that giving up wouldn't be an option. He needed to find a way to turn that pain into fuel to keep going. This type of rejection, which clashes with our greatest desires, can be paralyzing. But as they often say, overcoming comes precisely in moments when we are at rock bottom. While the other players celebrated their entry into the team, Sam returned home with heavy shoulders and a heavy heart. He knew he would have to face his father, the one who always believed in his ability, and that only made everything more difficult. How do you explain to someone who trusted you so much that, despite all your effort, the dream didn't come true? But even in this whirlwind of feelings, there was a small spark of hope that Sam tried to keep alive. What many people don't realize is that rejection is not the end of the road, but a crucial part of the journey. The big difference between those who achieve their dreams and those who give up is how they deal with the no that life often offers. Sam, although shaken, knew he needed to find strength within himself to continue. He remembered his father's words, "Hard work always beats talent when talent doesn't try." Maybe this wasn't his moment, but he knew that if he kept fighting, his moment would come. As Kevin enjoyed his momentary success, Sam began to reflect on what it really meant to be rejected. Being rejected doesn't mean you're not good enough. Often, it just means that it wasn't your time. The humility to accept this and continue forward is what defines true champions. Sam, still teary-eyed, began to realize that the fight he faced was not against Kevin or the football team, but against his own fears and insecurities. Rejection, in this context, was just another obstacle in his path. Most people, when faced with such painful rejection, would consider giving up. And indeed, Sam went through that thought. He wondered if all the effort was worth it, if perhaps it would be better to abandon football and follow another path. But at the same time, something inside him screamed that giving up would be betraying everything he had already built. Giving up was not part of who he was. Sam knew that as much as the rejection hurt, it wasn't permanent. Success, on the other hand, would only come if he continued. The turnaround began to take shape when Sam decided that instead of allowing rejection to define him, he would use it as motivation. He remembered the stories he heard about great players who, at some point, were also rejected. Many of them hadn't started out as the best, but they were the ones who worked the hardest. And if Sam really wanted to achieve success, he knew he would have to do the same. Rejection was not the end of his journey, but the beginning of a new chapter, where he would become even stronger and more resilient. In moments like these, inspiration can come in the most unexpected ways. For Sam, it was the conversation with his father that brought back the motivation. His father, ever wise, reminded him that rejection doesn't define who you are, but rather how you react to it. You weren't chosen this time, but that doesn't mean you won't be chosen next time. What you do now is what really matters. These words resonated deeply with Sam, who, with a new outlook, began planning his return to the field, determined to become an even better player. Sam realized that rejection was part of his path, and that, instead of regretting what had happened, he could use it as an opportunity to grow. Overcoming, after all, doesn't happen when everything goes right, but when you are challenged and, even so, decide to move forward. And that's what Sam was determined to do. With a new sense of purpose, he began training again, stronger and more focused than ever. He knew that at some point the tide would turn. Eventually, Sam understood that rejection, as painful as it was just part of the process. Many big names, in different areas of life, had gone through similar moments. The difference was that they didn't give up, and so Sam decided he wouldn't give up either. He knew that today's rejection would be the basis of his victory tomorrow. Despite Kevin's rejection and constant teasing, Sam decided that the last word on his fate had not yet been said. The pain of not being chosen for the team made him question his capabilities. But something inside him screamed not to give up. He realized that while talent was admirable, it was determination and perseverance that truly separated the great from the mediocre. In the silence of his room, he looked at the football in his hands and made a promise to himself. He would come back even stronger. And that was the essence of overcoming, a silent battle fought when no one is looking. Sam returned to the field, alone to train. There was no fans, no friends, and even less Kevin to make fun of him. The only sound was the echo of their kicks against the wall and the heavy breathing of someone willing to give their all. Perseverance was something he had learned early, and unlike Kevin, who was confident in his talent, Sam knew that the only way to achieve his dream was to work tirelessly. In every drop of sweat that fell, he saw the promise of a better future, the hope of a turnaround. He no longer trained to prove something to someone, but to prove to himself that he was capable. The days turned into weeks, and Sam continued his solitary training routine. With each shot, each dribble, he felt his body shape and his mind strengthen. And little by little, he started to notice the difference. Movements that previously seemed impossible now flowed more naturally. The ball seemed to respond better to his commands, and the confidence that had previously been shaken began to return. Sam was transforming, and not just physically. The humility and focus with which he approached his training were evident. He knew that the path to victory was not quick, but he was willing to follow it to the end. Sam's perseverance wasn't just about improving his physical abilities. It was about building a strong mindset. He learned that an athlete's true power is not just in the legs or feet, but in the mind. Many great players succumbed to pressure, doubt, and mental fatigue. But Sam decided that as long as he was willing to get up after every fall, he would never be defeated. It was valuable learning, which could be applied in any area of life. It doesn't matter how many times you fail. The important thing is how you get back up. It was on a rainy afternoon, while Sam was training alone on the field, that something unexpected happened. The team's coach, who was driving by, stopped to watch him. From afar, he saw the dedication of the boy who, even without being chosen, continued to fight for his dream. The technician was impressed. He knew that many talented players came and went, but few had Sam's determination. For the coach, talent was important, but the true essence of a player was perseverance. And at that moment, he began to reconsider his decision about Sam. Sam, however, didn't know he was being watched. He didn't train to impress anyone but himself. And this is where the true inspiration of the story lies. How many of us have felt invisible, believing that our efforts are not being recognized? Sam's lesson is clear. Keep going, even when no one is watching, even when the world doesn't seem to notice. Hard work pays off in ways you can't even imagine. True overcoming is moving forward, regardless of the circumstances. The twist in Sam's story wasn't immediate, but as the days passed, he began to notice something different about himself. He was no longer just a dreamy boy who wanted to play football. He was becoming a true athlete, someone capable of facing challenges and overcoming obstacles. Determination had shaped his character in ways he never imagined possible, and with this newfound inner strength, Sam knew he was ready for anything that came his way. The decisive moment came when the coach decided to give Sam a second chance. Seeing his unwavering dedication, the coach asked him to participate in a new test, this time with his eyes focused not only on his talent, but on his attitude and mental strength. For Sam, this was the opportunity he had fought so hard for. He knew that regardless of the outcome, he had won a much greater battle, the battle against his own doubts and fears. On the day of the new test, Sam arrived at the field with a calmness he had never felt before. Kevin, as usual, was there, ready to mock. But this time, Kevin's taunts didn't affect him. He was focused on his own journey, and nothing could divert him from his goal. Sam knew he didn't need to be the best. He just needed to be the most determined. And while the test was going on, he gave it his all, showing the coach and himself how much he had grown. Sam's journey so far was a lesson in humility and perseverance. He had learned that true victory lay not in the recognition of others, but in the ability to keep fighting, even when all seemed lost. The big moment Sam has been waiting for has finally arrived. Freestyle football legend Jeremy Lynch has announced a competition open to all young players. It was the opportunity Sam needed to prove to himself that all his effort had been worth it. It wasn't just a contest for Sam. It was a chance to rewrite his story. While Kevin, with his usual arrogance, signed up certain he would win, Sam silently signed up too, knowing this could be the comeback he so desperately wanted. The drama was about to unfold, and Sam felt like fate was giving him one more chance. For Kevin, the Jeremy Lynch competition was just another opportunity to show his superiority. He, blindly trusting in his talent, was certain that there was no worthy competitor. At each training session, he made a point of reminding everyone, including Sam, that this victory was already in his pocket. But what Kevin didn't know was that Sam's selflessness and humility prepared him in ways that talent alone never would. Sam wasn't competing against Kevin or any other player. He was competing against his own limits, and that, deep down, was what made him different. While Kevin displayed his confidence in front of others, Sam worked silently behind the scenes. He knew that this competition was not just a matter of physical ability, but of mental resilience. Every time he watched Jeremy Lynch's videos, it wasn't just to admire the tricks, but to learn from the star's humility and dedication. Sam saw in Jeremy someone who, like him, had fought against all odds to achieve success. This inspiration drove him to do his best, without waiting for immediate recognition. He was focused on the process, knowing that the results would come at the right time. Tensions grew as the competition deadline approached. Kevin, as always, didn't miss the opportunity to mock Sam, questioning whether he really thought he had a chance to win. Winning the Jeremy Lynch contest? You've got to be kidding. Kevin laughed, but Sam, with renewed calm, ignored the provocations. He knew that, regardless of what Kevin or anyone else said, his greatest victory would be to continue on his journey, without allowing himself to be shaken by other people's egos. It was this quiet determination that made him special. When the day of the big decision arrived, everyone's eyes were on Jeremy Lynch. The video Sam had sent was simple but powerful. He didn't try to imitate Jeremy's fancier tricks. Instead, he showed his evolution as a player and, above all, his passion and humility. Kevin, on the other hand, uploaded a video full of technical skills, but empty of emotion. When Jeremy announced that he would disqualify any participant involved in unsportsmanlike behavior, a chill ran down Kevin's spine. He knew what he had done, and it could cost him dearly. And that's exactly what happened. Jeremy Lynch, known not only for his football ability, but also for his character, revealed that Kevin had been disqualified for his unsporting behavior. The bullying video that Kevin had carried out against Sam had spread across social media, and Jeremy, in an act of altruism, made it clear that talent, without character, was worthless. The shock was great, especially for Kevin, who always believed his skills were enough to take him to the top. But Jeremy showed that the true value of an athlete lies in the respect he has for others. The twist in Sam's story came the moment Jeremy announced the winner of the competition. With a discreet smile, Jeremy looked directly at Sam and pronounced his name. Emotion took over the young man, who could hardly believe what was happening. He had won, not just the competition, but all your internal battles. He had proven to himself, and to the world, that perseverance, humility, and hard work can take anyone to great heights. Kevin, on the other hand, had to learn the hard way that talent, without values, can get you down quickly. Sam, now the winner of the competition, has received not only recognition from Jeremy Lynch, but the respect of his peers. His journey was a true inspiration to everyone around him. The slight boy, who was previously the target of ridicule, now stood up as a living example of overcoming. The one who never gave up, even when the world seemed to conspire against him. The trophy he now held in his hands was more than a football victory. It was confirmation that the path he chose to follow, based on humility and hard work, would always be the most rewarding. For Kevin, the result was a severe blow. He, who always saw himself as the best, had to confront a bitter truth. Talent without hard work and humility doesn't take anyone very far. And in that moment, he realized that Sam's victory was much more deserved than he ever imagined. Sam, for his part, held no grudges. He knew his victory wasn't just about Kevin, but about himself. The lesson he had learned was something he would carry with him for the rest of his life. Sam's victory was more than just the result of a competition. It was the culmination of a journey of overcoming, perseverance, and humility. The moment Jeremy Lynch announced his name as the winner, time seemed to stop. Sam could hardly believe he had achieved what he so desperately wanted. This boy who, for so long, had been underestimated, ridiculed, and rejected, was now being celebrated not just for his football skills, but for his unbreakable spirit. The applause from the other players and Jeremy's look of approval confirmed what Sam had always known deep down in his soul. He could do it. As the crowd cheered and Jeremy's small smile greeted him, Sam felt a wave of emotion wash over him, the feeling that all the sacrifice had been worth it. Kevin, who had so often mocked him, watched from a distance, unable to comprehend how Sam had become the center of attention. For Sam, however, victory wasn't about humiliating Kevin or any other opponent. It was about proving to himself that he could achieve anything when he combined his passion with determination. It was about showing that true overcoming comes from within, and not from the approval of others. The trophy that Sam held in his hands was symbolic. It represented much more than his skill on the field. He carried the weight of all the nights of lonely training, the tears of frustration, and the moments when he almost gave up. Every detail of that journey was recorded in Sam's mind, and at that moment, he knew that all the effort had been worth it. Jeremy Lynch, when presenting the award, looked him in the eye and said, "You are living proof that hard work and perseverance can overcome any challenge." Those words would echo in Sam's mind forever. But Sam's story doesn't end with a simple trophy. The real victory was the respect he gained among his peers, and even among those who doubted him. The other players, who previously paid him no attention, now saw him differently. Kevin even approached Sam after the ceremony, visibly shaken, but trying to hide his hurt pride. He offered a hesitant greeting, muttering an apology for his past behavior. Sam, always altruistic, accepted the gesture with a smile, without resentment. After all, he knew that real victory was not in holding on to regrets, but in moving forward with your head held high. With recognition from Jeremy Lynch and respect from his peers, Sam now had a new platform. He knew his journey was just beginning. His victory in Jeremy's competition was not the end, but the beginning of a new phase in his life. He could use this opportunity to continue growing, not just as a player, but as a person. And with the same humility as always, Sam decided that he would help others see that overcoming was possible, that hard work always wins in the end. He wanted to be an inspiration, the same way Jeremy had been to him. Sam's humility remained his greatest strength. Even with all the attention focused on him, he didn't let success go to his head. Instead, He remained focused on his training, knowing there was much more to achieve. Jeremy Lynch, upon seeing Sam's continued dedication, offered him some valuable advice. Victory may be sweet, but the journey is never over. Keep working hard, and success will continue to follow you. Sam absorbed these words, aware that the true champion is the one who never stops learning, growing, and improving. Sam's victory also brought with it a new outlook on what success really means. He learned that winning is not just about being the best on the field, but about becoming the best version of yourself. Every challenge he faced, from Kevin's bullying to his initial team rejection, shaped his character and prepared him for that moment. And now, with the trophy in hand and the support of Jeremy Lynch, he knew he was ready for whatever challenge lay ahead. Sam's future was brighter than ever, and he was determined to keep fighting for his dreams. But as always, Sam never forgot where he came from. He knew his victory was not just personal. She was a reflection of all those who had ever been underestimated, ridiculed, or rejected. He wanted his story to be a beacon of inspiration for others, showing that overcoming is within the reach of everyone who is willing to work for it. Sam's story is the story of all of us, who at some point doubt our abilities. But, with the right determination, we can achieve great things. With his victory, Sam finally understood the most important lesson. True triumph is not in beating others, but in beating yourself. As he looked to the future, he knew that many more challenges would come, but he also knew that he was ready to face them. Sam's story doesn't end here. She continues, as a constant source of inspiration for all who believe in the power of hard work and perseverance. Sam's journey shows us that true overcoming is not just in the great moments of glory, but in the small daily battles that we face with determination and courage. If you are experiencing challenges, feel undervalued, or have been rejected, remember, the key is not to give up, but to persist. Talent can only take you so far, but it's hard work and perseverance that will take you further. And the best? This is not a distant theory, but something you can apply right now in your life. So, what stops you from fighting for your dreams? Is it the criticism of others? Or perhaps the fear of failure? Sam showed us that the path to victory is for those who do not let obstacles get them down, but use them as a springboard to grow even stronger. Now, the question is, are you willing to do the same? Fighting for what you believe in, even when no one else believes in you. If you want to continue learning powerful lessons like this and be inspired by stories of overcoming, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Don't miss the opportunity to transform your life with content that will take you further. Together, we can reach new heights. Let's do it.